Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod, here to talk about Survivor Season 46, Episode 9, titled Spicy Jeff. Last week on Survivor, an explosive tribal council where Q asked to be voted out ended up sending Tevin to Survivor Heaven. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist where you can watch my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing, and follow me on social media. I'm very active on Twitter. But let's dive into it. They get back to camp and everyone is shook. Kenzie is mad at Q for his antics. Q quarantines himself on the boat at the beach and tells us that he was being dead serious about asking to go home because the game wasn't going the way he wanted it to, and back home he holds himself accountable to his mistakes, but he feels great pride for staying even though he asked to leave.
I guess I'm too hard to kill right now.
Tiffany confronts Q asking why he exposed her idol, and he says he did it because she turned on Maria and the Journey 6.
Are you stupid? Are you dumb?
Oh, she's yelling on me. Family dispute.
It becomes a big blow up with Liz and Venus eavesdropping, and Liz feels like her big game move was overshadowed by all the drama and breaks down about it in confessional. She now feels like she needs to make another big move to compensate, and she's coming for Q's ass. The next day, a group of survivors meet at the well to talk crap about Q. Ben feels like Q is pretending to be on a moral high ground because he's terrible at the game, and they all agree not to give Q their vote in the end. Venus also calls Hunter the village idiot because he was on the outs of the vote.
And I knew no one would get mad if I wrote your name down.
I got mad.
Except you, but you're always mad.
That's rude.
These bumbling buffoons, two dumb meatheads. Karma is a bitch.
Hunter decides that he no longer wants to work with Liz, which makes him a lone wolf by choice, and his plan is basically to win immunity and use his idol, and then work from there, which really isn't the best strategy. They get tree mail telling them to split into trios for their challenge, and the teams they pick are Ben, Tiffany, and Kenzie, Maria, Charlie, and Hunter, and Q, Liz, and Venus. Q floats the idea to Maria and Charlie to throw the immunity challenge to make Hunter eligible to be voted out.
Throwing a challenge, yuck. Not gonna do it.
Maria and Charlie agree that Q has cracked ideas and they don't trust him, and Maria sees Tiffany as a threat and wants to vote her out with her idol. They head to their immunity challenge and Jeff asks them how they got into their trios, and they all say it was random. This irritates Jeff, who animatedly shakes the idol at the players, saying that there's no way it was random when they're playing for immunity. Tiffany chimes in that they all just didn't want to be on a team with Q, and that satisfies Jeff. For their challenge, they'll be competing in 3 rounds with only one person winning immunity in the end. The first round is a set of balance beams to collect materials, then they have to dig up some rope rings. The first 2 teams to complete it move on. Maria bodies this, getting her trio off to a fast start, and Kenzie sets hers off slowly. Maria, Hunter, and Charlie crush this with no problem. Q, Venus, and Liz complete it as well, so Kenzie, Tiffany, and Ben are eliminated. The next round is building a rope bridge with rungs. They each have their own bridge to complete, then they each need to land a ball on a target. Liz has a Herculean save, rescuing her rope. Hunter finishes his and then goes back to help Charlie, with them finishing theirs first, getting them off to a hot start, and then they get all their balls as well, moving them on to the final round. So Maria, Charlie, and Hunter compete in the final round, which is an endurance challenge where they're standing on a perch. These 3 are very serious about this, and Maria drops first, ending with a face-off between Hunter and Charlie, who are both struggling and quaking and could drop at any moment. Hunter eventually gives in and Charlie wins immunity. Back at camp, there's awkward silence, and Venus is excited that they have options between Q, Hunter, or a blindside. Q is trying to stir up more trouble, pulling Kenzie aside and telling her that Tiffany has been in the Journey 6, and Kenzie tells Q that she doesn't want to work with him, and that he was in the 6 too, and shoos him away. Kenzie runs this right back to Tiff, and Kenzie sees an opportunity for a blindside and brings her plan to Maria, Hunter, and Charlie.
How do you feel about Tiff's idol?
Wait, I'm sorry, can you run that back?
How do you feel about Tiff's idol?
This really shocked me, and they tell Kenzie that they're down. Privately, Maria and Charlie like this plan, and they like that they can pin the plan on Kenzie. Charlie talks to Tiffany, who says that she wants to play Idolicia, which pretty much kills their plan. Ben, Maria, and Charlie decide to change the plan from Tiffany to Hunter, so Ben breaks the news to Kenzie, who thinks that plan is boring. Hunter gets nervous and runs calculations in the sand and decides that he's playing his idol tonight. He goes to Q and tells Q that they should target Ben, and he asks Venus and Liz to work with them. Liz and Venus were planning to vote for Q and are hesitant to work with Hunter. By the time they go to Tribal, everyone knows that Hunter's playing his idol, so anything could happen. At Tribal, Jeff starts off with some drama of his own, saying that he's ready for a show, so he brought a cushion and some popcorn so he can enjoy the show. They pass around the popcorn and Liz gets to eat something, which is pleasant.
I thought Spicy Jeff was back in season.
Oh, Spicy Jeff is back.
Oop, they said the thing. And you know these performative antics from Jeff motivate the survivors to put on a show. So Tiffany comes in hot, explaining that Q tried to tank her game, and Q and Tiffany have words, with Tiffany saying that he's jealous of her. And Tiff really gives Jeff his money's worth, saying that Q was pushing Hunter's name all morning, which freaks Hunter out even more. Hunter turns to Kenzie asking what's going on, and she tells him that everyone's voting for Q. and everyone starts assuring Hunter that they're voting for Q. It's hard to pay attention to anything going on because Hunter is so torn and disturbed at this tribal, and the big question we're all wondering is this all an elaborate ruse to trick Hunter? They get to voting, and we don't get a preview of who anyone votes for, which keeps things spicy. Jeff asks for idols, and he doesn't get any when Tiffany and Hunter both hold off on playing them. Jeff reads the votes, and they alternate between Q and Hunter with 4 votes each. The last vote is for Ben, so we have a tie, and they go to revote between Hunter and Q. After the revote, Hunter is voted out by a vote of 6-1. I'll talk about the vote in a second, but first we have to say goodbye to Hunter, who came into the game a lot of people's winner pick, definitely filling the role of the person who's over-prepared. With his whole house being full of survivor crap, it came in handy though because he single-handedly carried his team through to the merge, winning every tribal immunity that he played in, though he was in a strong position with his tribe and didn't really need to win all that stuff. The other tribes were definitely always going back to camp and talking about how good he was and how much they need to get him out when they can. To his credit, he does manage to survive one tribal without safety in the split tribal, which was rare good gameplay from him, but overall I found him to be a really passive player. After he made his alliance with Tevin, it doesn't seem like he ever talked game, to the extent that in the last episode when Venus saw him talking game, she was shocked. Even in this episode, Venus referred to him as the village idiot, and he really did get bamboozled being voted out with an idol in his pocket. I'm hesitant to call him a terrible player because I feel like he does have potential to return and fix some of these mistakes, and this round of gameplay from him was one of the worst, with not using the idol to save Tevin, declaring that his strategy was to win immunity and use his idol, losing immunity, telling us he's gonna play his idol, telling everyone at camp that he has the idol and that he's playing it, then just getting tricked into not playing it and voted out. That's pretty bad. Going into these votes, the 4 votes for Q were Hunter, Venus, Kenzie, and Liz. Votes for Hunter were Ben, Charlie, Maria, and Tiffany. The 1 vote for Ben was Q. I believe the 4-4 split was perfectly executed, mostly by the old Sigas, and I don't think anyone told Q the plan. On the revote, everybody votes for Hunter except Liz, so I don't think Liz was in on this either, but let me know in the comments, what do you think happened with this vote? Who do you think is going home next week? I love reading your comments and responding to all of them. Some of my subscribers should enter into a storytelling contest. It goes down in the comments. If you haven't already, consider liking and subscribing and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back next week to talk about more Survivor. Until then, have a nice weekend. Bye.